Welcome to the Canadian University Ultimate Championships 2018. I am Andrew Batchelor, the Ultimate Canada Competition Director. This is Ultimate Canada's first attempt at a virtual captain's meeting, so we'll see how it goes. If you leave your team name and your captain's name in the comments below, your team is not obliged to attend an in-person captain's meeting on site. So attendance will be taken. Field services. Athletic therapy is on site at 8 a.m. on Friday and at 7:30 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. If you need taping, it will cost you $5 unless you bring your own tape, and then it'll be free. Arrive with full water bottles at the fields. Water stations will be set up during the first game, and if they are immediately emptied because too many players have not brought full water bottles, it creates a major stress on our ability to keep those water jugs full. So if you could please arrive with enough water for your first game, water jugs will be arriving during your first game, and that should be able to be maintained throughout the day. Field food is put out only after the first game, so eat breakfast before arriving at the fields. Food trucks will arrive at approximately 11 a.m. for lunch for purchase. Clean up your trash. This site is extremely valuable to Ultimate Canada. There are very few sites this large with 2 turf fields that can accommodate this type of tournament. It is very important that we respect it and that so that we can keep coming back year after year. This should go without saying, but please absolutely clean up your trash. That includes old tape, dirty socks, banana peels, all that stuff in the trash. Be nice to volunteers. Okay? That includes scorekeepers and observers. We can't run this tournament without our volunteers, so we need you to be nice to them so that they keep wanting to come back. I don't want another incident like at Easterns where players are blowing up at our volunteers. That's unacceptable, and I will not be afraid to suspend players who are disrespectful towards our volunteers. Score reporting after every single game. Hey, this includes spirit. So here we see a spirit sheet. What you'll want to do is you'll want to write your team name at the top, your opponent's name underneath, and the score of the game, the on-field score. Do that first and immediately after the game. Next, you're going to have these 5 categories: rules, knowledge, and use, fouls and body contact, fair-mindedness, positive attitude and self-control, and communications. They're all scored out between 0 and 4, where 2 is a normal score. You can see 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 would be a normal score where everything was just a perfectly normal Ultimate Frisbee game where everybody had great spirit. In order to give out 3s in any of the categories, something exceptional needs to happen. And in order to give out 4s in any of the categories, something incredible needs to happen, and you'll need to write a brief comment about why you gave out that single 4. Giving out all 4s is unacceptable in my eyes and will be cause for disqualification from spirit, if not immediately redoing your spirit sheet. Okay, so I want to see 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. If something goes wrong, that's unfortunate. You can write poor in one of the categories, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Zeros are reserved for terrible incidences. So, and if you do give out a 0, you also need to write a comment. Failure to write a comment when giving out a 0, just like when failure to write a comment when giving out a 4, will result in disqualification from the spirit standings. Okay, so all games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, need to do this. Additionally, if you're in Tier 1, if you're in CUUC Div 1, you will also have a stat sheet to sign. It is very important that you read the team names that will be filled out by the volunteer scorekeeper, as well as the final score, and make sure they are correct. You'll be surprised how many times I get back one of these score sheets or one of the spirit sheets that have missing scores or incorrect scores, and I need to go chase down teams. I don't want to be chasing down teams this weekend. I want you guys to verify this before you hand it in, before you sign it here, on either the home signature or the away signature. And before you sign it, read these scores, make sure it's right. Okay, so before you sign your spirit sheet, make sure the score is right and the spirit's filled in correctly. Okay, that's it for score reporting. Game rules. Games are to 15. There's no longer a requirement to win by 2. There's no overtime rule. We've taken that out. There are 2 timeouts per half per team. These timeouts are unaffected by cap. Hard cap is at 85 minutes. That's the time that's listed on the schedule. at hard cap, finish the point. Game is over unless it's tied. If it's tied, play one more point. You still have your timeouts in hard cap. Halftime cap arrives at 45 minutes. For those of you that are unfamiliar with a halftime cap, after 45 minutes of gameplay has passed, finish the point that's in progress. If halftime has not yet occurred or it's not currently half, you will add 1 to the leading score, and that will be the new halftime target. For instance, if the score is 4-3 when 45 minutes has passed, you finish the point and the score is now 5-3. Halftime will be taken at 6. You continue to play the first half as normal, just now halftime will be taken at 6 instead of at 8. Contact rules in effect. There is a limit of 3 players per team on shared sidelines. So what that means is when there are 2 fields that share a sideline in between, only 3 players per team on that sideline. An exception is if there are observers on either game, 0 players on that shared sideline are permitted. There's not enough room for 3 players per team per sideline with observers as well. Games start and end on the horn. There are no exceptions to this allowed. You have to wait for the horn to start your game, and hard cap comes on when the horn blows. If you think that we do this for a reason, we have to keep the bye patterns the same for all teams within a pool, and we want to have equal rest as much as possible going into future games. If 2 teams in a pool decide to play their games early and the other teams don't, then we get these uneven bye patterns and uneven rest, and that's not optimal. If you think your situation is special and needs an exception, come find me. I'm the only one that can give that type of exception to start your games early. Live stream. If you're on the live stream, there are some special rules. There is no swearing allowed in the live stream whatsoever. Celebrations must be PG, and this is true for all divisions, not just live stream games, but celebrations must be respectful towards your opponents. I don't want any incidents where teams are feeling disrespected by the other opponent. So please keep your celebrations PG, and to yourselves, do not disrespect your opponents. Teams must have matching jerseys with clear numbers if you're on the live stream. If you can't do this, UC can supply pennies to your team. Ultimate Canada has a set of pennies that we can lend to your team for the game that you're live streamed, so that the live stream broadcast crew can read numbers distinctly. Extra layers for warmth should go underneath your jerseys. Even if your coat's black, don't wear it over top of your black jerseys because we can't see your numbers. If you're in a live stream game, please find Becky Thompson before your game to provide information about your team, confirm jersey numbers, and name pronunciations. We want to have the highest quality broadcast, and it helps if she can speak intelligently about your team. So go and talk to her before your game to let her know some stuff about you guys. Becky can always be found 20 minutes before a live stream game at Field 1A underneath the scaffold. But if you can find her sooner than that, earlier in the day, that's better. So get the information to her, the sooner the better. Some of you already know that you're being live streamed. Why don't you shoot her an email right now with all the information and little anecdotes about your team. Thunder policy. If there are 3 horns blown, that means that I have heard thunder and games are to stop immediately. If the disc is in the air, it'll go back to thrower, but your game has stopped immediately. If you have time, put the disc back where it's going to come back into play, but clear the sidelines, seek shelter. The best shelter there's a fire hall between fields 3 and field 20. That's an excellent spot for shelter. The other excellent spot is disc central behind fields 8 and 9. Between the water park and fields 8 and 9. That's the best spot to go for shelter. Watch the Ultimate Canada social media, the Twitter, the Facebook, for updates on how to start. Subscribe to the mass texting system with Terry Lynn to get those updates as well. That's how the details about how we're going to restart are going to come through. Notes from the observers. Observers are going to be pre-assigned to a lot of games. Requests for observers should be sent to linda@canadianultimate.com or batch@canadianultimate.com. That's me. Or you can come find us at Disc Central and make requests. We'll do our best, but we're going to have a lot of our observers are going to be pre-assigned to a lot of games. Especially Friday, we're going to be very tight on observers. Stay clear of the sidelines. there are going to be buffer lines painted on pretty much every single field there. So let's keep those sidelines clear and use those buffer lines. This is especially true for observed games, but why don't we do it for unobserved games as well? Stay back. This includes coaches and players not on the field. Stay back from the sidelines. It'll help keep everyone safe. A document about dangerous play clarification would have been sent out to all captains. Please read this. The gist of it is dangerous play is all about safety first. Let's keep those players safe and so we can keep playing Ultimate for a long time. So that's it for this captain's meeting. Thanks for tuning in. Again, reminder, in the comments, write your team name and your captain name to make sure that I know that they've watched this video. That way they don't have to attend an in-person meeting where I will be taking attendance to make sure everybody's gotten all this information. Thank you very much and good luck, everyone.